We're going halfway around the world. Clemmie, where are you? Come on.
Okay. Pearl Harbor was attacked on December 7, 1941, and I was born on June 22nd, 1940. My memory of the war is limited, which is a blessing. There are events which left an indelible mark on my memory. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the Japanese soldiers came riding in big vehicles, carrying guns with bayonets attached and bags on their backs. This was the first time I have ever seen a truck, and the first time I have ever smelled gasoline fumes, which I thought was pleasant. I was playing with friends in my uncle's yard. Two soldiers came to see my uncle to inform him that the soldiers will use the schoolhouse as barracks and the officers will use my uncle's house. They also wanted a cow butchered for the troops. All of this I learned later when I was older. All requests were granted. About this time, all the able-bodied men and women have joined the American forces as guerrillas, so only women, children, and elderly were left in the village. Then one day, the Japanese informed us that they wanted to see everyone after dark in my uncle's yard. Everyone was scared. I held my mother's hand for dear life. There were several lighted torches, and hanging from a tree branch was a man with both wrists tied in ropes and both feet off the ground. The man was a neighbor who joined the guerrillas earlier. A soldier told us that the man must be punished, and the same punishment will be meted to us if we don't cooperate. First, they beat him with their belts and hit him repeatedly with the butt of their guns. The sound of the beating was the most awful sound I have ever heard. I tried to cover my ears with my mother's skirt, but the sound of the beating echoed and penetrated my brain. Then they got him down and laid him on the ground. Then the soldiers started pouring buckets of water into his mouth and face and ordered him to drink at the same time, kicking him in the stomach. There was quiet sobbing from everybody. This was called simply water torture, but also known as waterboarding. After the above episode, it was decided that we will hide in the jungle whenever the Japanese soldiers came to the village, usually at night. Several villagers were taught how to whistle like a nocturnal bird to warn the people whenever the Japanese were coming. When the whistle was heard, the adults gathered the kids, and quickly and quietly we disappeared into the jungle. There was a problem, though, with the dogs. They barked and followed us to the forest, which would give away our location. With only women and the elderly, it was decided that the most humane way to kill the dogs was to drown them by attaching a rock to a rope around their necks and throw them into the river. Unfortunately, an old dog of ours returned. The rope had slipped off his neck. We thought he was a ghost dog, and it was wrenching and more painful job to repeat it. Sometimes we would be in the forest several days hiding under thick bamboo growth. We were taught not to make a sound, and somehow the babies did not cry. We could not cook because the smoke would betray our location. There was nothing to cook anyway. Then, as suddenly as they came, the Japanese soldiers left in the trucks and headed to the capital of our province with plans to meet other troops. Later, I learned, as I got older, that America was winning or had won the war. The Japanese troops were given a chance to surrender by the U.S. troops in the area, but they refused. After the Japanese soldiers left, we returned to our homes. With their refusal to surrender, the Japanese sought refuge in concrete buildings and caves. The U.S. decided to bomb our capital. This was Abra. One morning we heard the drones of planes. We had never seen planes before. I climbed a tree to get a better look. The planes started to drop huge cylindrical things, and as it hit the ground, there was a loud boom and huge billows of fire. Many civilians perished with the Japanese. My young mind saw only the beauty of the explosions and fire. Would I have suffered more psychological trauma if I was older and understood the ramifications of war? What do you think? I believe a young mind is a great filter.